So the next big mid-range chip from Qualcomm is going to be the Snapdragon 778G. We already know that Samsung, Motorola and Realme are going to be launching phones with this chip really soon. In fact, the Realme GT Master Edition's India launch is just a week away. However, we did import this unit of the Realme GT Master Edition from China, and I'm going to be reserving my thoughts for the Realme GT Master Edition when the India launch happens. What I'm going to be doing is actually testing only the Snapdragon 778G inside it because it's a new chip and I want to see how it compares against the MediaTek Dimensity 1200, the Snapdragon 860 and the Snapdragon 765G. My name is Arshad, you're watching My Smart Price. Let's get this battle started. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it because we need all your support. We are trying to get to 100k really soon, so please smash that subscribe button. We'd love that. So I started off the testing process by running Antutu on all the 4 phones, but let it be known that Antutu also takes into account the memory and the storage performance as well. So the scores will vary across different variants of the same phone and even across different brands using the same SoC. Now there's no doubt that the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 SoC inside the Realme X7 Max leads the pack when it comes to Antutu numbers. But what took me by surprise is the fact that the Antutu score of the Realme GT Master Edition with the Snapdragon 778G SoC was very close to an 8 series chip, which is the Snapdragon 860 SoC inside the POCO X3 GT. Looks like it is actually a much more powerful chip compared to the Snapdragon 768G, which scored the lowest in my Antutu run. Similarly, in Geekbench testing, the Snapdragon 778G and the Snapdragon 860 are really close in numbers. It goes without saying that the Dimensity 1200 SoC has the best single core and multi-core scores here, and the Snapdragon 768G comes in last. While direct benchmarks are great, I'm more interested in the CPU and GPU throttling. Agreed, a lot of it has to do with how the OEM has tuned the software, but we can get an idea of whether Realme has done a good job or not with the Snapdragon 778G. In my 3D Mark Wildlife stress test, the Snapdragon 765G runs the most stable, but that's also because it doesn't have a very powerful GPU. The Snapdragon 768G runs pretty stable with 98.9% stability as well. But then again, it isn't the most powerful either. You'll notice that the Dimensity 1200 SoC inside the Realme X7 Max is the most unstable, and even the Snapdragon 860 does way better. But the POCO X3 Pro with the Snapdragon 860 was the hottest at 50 degrees. You will notice that I had actually maintained the starting temperature at 30 degrees on all the 3 phones, which is why the temperature rise is just crazy on the POCO X3 Pro, and it did feel the hottest compared to all the phones when I actually held it in my hand. So the same Realme software, when presented with a MediaTek Dimensity chipset, actually struggles to tame it. At the same time, when presented with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G, it does a fairly good job of controlling the performance and giving you a sustained performance. Looks like the Realme GT Master Edition with the Snapdragon 778G is going to be a really nice sustained performer for gaming, and I actually prefer sustained performance on phones over peaks and then throttling it. Now moving on to the CPU throttle test, the 2 most powerful chips in this test, the Snapdragon 860 and the Dimensity 1200, throttled the most. In fact, the Snapdragon 860 toting POCO X3 Pro suffered the most, where the CPU throttled to 61% of its max performance. The Dimensity 1200 achieved a score of 77%. The Snapdragon 768G and the 778G stayed fairly stable at 86% after 30 minutes of continuous testing. What's great is the Snapdragon 778G managed to do this at higher clock speeds. So I don't play BGMI, but I did check for the extreme graphics setting possible. If you want extreme 60 FPS gameplay, you will have to bump down the graphics setting to smooth on all the 4 phones. But the Realme X7 Max with Dimensity 1200 SoC can actually do 90 FPS gameplay, which is a huge advantage. The 778G and the 765G can be cranked up to a max graphics setting of HDR with the frame rates dropping to Ultra or 40 FPS. However, on the Snapdragon 860 and the Dimensity 1200, you can actually touch 60 FPS extreme gameplay at HDR graphics. For real life testing, I played Call of Duty on all the phones for 20 minutes, starting with the Snapdragon 860 toting POCO X3 Pro. This is the only processor among the 4 that can do very high graphics and max frame rates on Call of Duty. But for the sake of parity, I played on high graphics and max FPS. After 20 minutes, the phone got the hottest, touching 40 degrees, which was an increase of 10 degrees, and it also lost 9% battery in the 20 minutes of gameplay. And from a completely subjective gaming experience, I loved playing on the Poco X3 Pro because it was extremely fast, responsive, and offered great touch latency as well. Not once did it stutter. Now moving on to the Dimensity 1200 on the Realme X7 Max, you can achieve max FPS only on high graphics. I feel that Call of Duty is not optimized for the Dimensity 1200 SoC yet. Anyway, the phone touched 39 degrees, which was a rise of 8 degrees from its starting temperature of 31 degrees Celsius, and it lost only 5% battery life. Playing on it was fun, but not as much as the Poco X3 Pro. It didn't lag or anything, but the touch response wasn't as good. Coming to the Snapdragon 778G on the Realme GT Master Edition, you get the same max FPS and high graphics as the Dimensity 1200. What's interesting is that it topped only 38 degrees after 20 minutes of gaming, which was a 6 degree rise from the starting temperature. But it did lose 9% battery life in the 20 minutes of gameplay. Now playing on the GT Master Edition was a lot of fun. It was lag free and responsive, plus the touch latency is good too. But yeah, the Poco X3 Pro would still be my favorite phone for gaming. Finally, the Snapdragon 765G chip on the iQOO Z3 can also do only max FPS and high graphics. The phone's thermal performance was similar to the GT Master Edition with the same 6 degree rise in temperature after a 20-minute session. But it lost only 3% battery life after 20 minutes, which is the lowest of all the three phones. However, the gameplay experience wasn't great on the Z3. It was the only phone where the oleophobic coating was so bad that I didn't feel like playing after a couple of minutes. Add to that, I faced a slight lag as well. Anyway, here is a full comparison chart of my gaming test for you to see on screen. You can pause here and take a closer look. So the Snapdragon 778 system on chip is a very powerful super mid-range chip that comes very close to the performance of an 8 series chip. The only difference is that the GPU isn't as powerful as the Snapdragon 860 or the MediaTek Dimensity 1200. Having said that, I did enjoy my sessions of Call of Duty on this phone, and of course the sustained performance is something that's definitely worth talking about. In fact, when you look at the mid-range chips from Qualcomm, this is definitely leading the top of the pack, which is further accentuated by the fact that this also supports LPDDR5 RAM compared to LPDDR4X on the Snapdragon 768G. Obviously, this is not a gaming monster chip. Having said that, it is definitely a balanced performer, and when tied with experiences like a good display and a good camera performance, you can actually make a very balanced smartphone out of it. I'm really curious to see how brands tailor the experience with the Snapdragon 778G, which I kind of like. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the Snapdragon 778G. Until next time, this is Eshar from My Smart Price signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.